Hi, this is Dan Wickwire here. In this session, we'll look at question number 195 in my book, 200 Questions About the Bible and the Quran. Here's the question. Do the writers of the holy books ever quote Jewish fables as though they were actual historical events? No in the Bible, but yes in the Quran. Now, in the Bible, there are 5 places in the Injil where it forbids or warns believers against believing in Jewish fables or listening to them. 1 Timothy 1:4 talks about, nor give heed to fables and endless genealogies which cause disputes rather than godly edification which is in faith. So it's telling you don't give heed to these things, to the Jewish fables. 1 Timothy 4:7, but refuse profane old wives' fables, and exercise thyself rather unto godliness. Again, in 2 Timothy 4:4, and they will turn aside their ears away from the truth to be turned aside to fables. It's a warning, don't do this. Titus 1:14, not giving heed to Jewish fables and the commandments of men who turn from the truth. Again, another warning not to listen or give heed to Jewish fables. And then in 2 Peter 1:16, it says, for we did not follow cunningly devised fables when we made known to you the power and the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty. The Injil is not based upon strange fables, it's based upon eyewitness testimony who saw the glory and the majesty and the life of Jesus Christ. When we look at the Quran, what do we see? Well, we see repeated examples of the Quran using fables. I can show you 25 different examples of fables recorded in the Quran. And if you want to see these for yourself, go to my book. It's on my website, danwickwire.com, called The Wickwire Compendium of Islam, and you can find all of these fables listed in there. Pages 304 to 309, you'll see all of these 25 examples. But look what it says. There are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places in the Quran where the Quran is saying the writings of Muhammad are not fables. Look at this in Anfal 8:31. And when our revelations are recited to them, they say, the they there is the Christians and the Jews, they say, we have heard. If we wish, we can speak the like of this. Assuredly, this is nothing but fables of the men of old. So the Quran is accusing the Jews and Christians of accusing Muhammad of using fables in the Quran. Enam 6:25. If they saw every sign, they would not believe in it, to the point that when they come to you to argue with you, the disbelievers say, this is nothing else than the legends of the ancients. Well, the disbelievers, this was talking about the Jews and the Christians, and the word disbelievers there is kafir, and they're saying this is nothing else than the legends of the ancients. So the Quran is accusing Christians and Jews who are accusing Muhammad of using fables. The Quran says those people are disbelievers. They're not believing in the Quran. Why? Because it's full of fables. Mutafikin 83:13 to 14. When our revelations are recited to him, he says, these are fables of the ancients. No, their own deeds have cast a veil over their hearts. So if you want to see further accusations by Christians and Jews of there being fables found in the Quran, look at Nal 16:24, Mumin 23:83, Furqan 25:4-5, Niml 27:68, and Akaf 46:17, and Kalem 68:15. These are the 9 places. I read you 3 of them. There are another 6 places in the Quran where Muhammad is dodging accusations by Jews and Christians that he's using fables in the Quran. Okay? Now, are there fables in the Quran? Actually, there are. In fact, in my book, I give 25 examples that are found in the Quran. Now, for the sake of time, I don't have time enough to run through all 25 of them, but I'm going to give you a little less than half of them right here. The birth of Jesus under a palm tree in Surah 19:22-26. This is taken from the Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew, the legends of the child Jesus in Egypt, chapters 20 and 21. And then also the Arabic infancy gospel, chapter 24. Another one, the story about 7 sleepers in a cave. They apparently slept either 300 or 309 years. The Quran isn't clear about that. But in Kahf 18:19-25, it says this: "Do you consider the companions of the cave and the bearers of the inscription were a wonder among our signs?" In other words, these people apparently slept 300 years or 309 years, whichever it is, and this was a sign from God. He put his rubber stamp on it. Well, what is this? This is a fable, a Jewish fable from Diogenes Laertius Epimenides, chapter 10, which was written about 600 BC. It's a well-known fable. And so in the Quran itself, it doesn't even indicate for certain how many of the young men were sleeping in the cave. There's a question about that, and there's a question as to whether it was 300 or 309 years. Another one, Jesus speaking in the cradle. This is in 19:29-33, 3:46, and 5:10 in the Quran. This was taken from the Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew and the first infancy of Jesus Christ. It's coming from the Egyptian Apocrypha in the 2nd century, well-known literary work. Another one, here's Jesus turning clay into birds that fly around. This is in 349 and 5110. This was taken from the Thomas's Gospel of the Infancy of Jesus Christ around the end of the 2nd century. Here's another one, the crucifixion story about Jesus not really dying. He just appeared that he died in Nisa 4, 157-158. The sources for this story are the Acts of John before 150 AD, the Gospel of Peter, 150 AD, letters of Ignatius, 1st and 2nd century, Irenaeus against the heresies Basilides, 182-188, and Photius, the 9th century, about Lucius Carinus around the 5th century. So these are different places where this crucifixion story is told, but it's not in the Bible. It's contrary to the Bible. It's contrary to the gospel. And Paul in Galatians chapter 1, verses 8 and 9 says, "If anyone preaches any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed." Again, the Trinity, the false Trinity, is found in 4, 171-172, and 573 and 116. This false Trinity idea, the idea that the Trinity is false, comes from the Arabic infancy gospel, chapter 17, comes from the fragments of the Gospel of Hebrews. Origin is Jerome in 100-150, and Tertullian on Praxis around 215. Another one that's found 7 times in the Quran is the angels are commanded to prostrate before Adam. This is found in the Jewish Talmud around 150-200. It's found in 230-38, 7:11-18, 15:28-34, 17:61-65, 18:50-51, 20:116, and 38:71-78. Another one. Here's some people who were 100 years dead and then they wake up alive in 259. This is taken from an apocryphal Jewish fable about Ezra. Another one, Jewish village turning into apes and swine in 265 and 560. This is an old Jewish fable, and Yusuf Ali, in his translation of the Qur'an, admits to it in page 34, footnote number 79. Others. The mooing golden calf in 2085 to 88. This is taken from Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer. And then King Solomon and the Hoopy bird and the Queen of Sheba. This whole story is in 27:15 to 44. This is taken from the second Targum of Esther, the 2nd century. It's a Jewish fable. So these are just a few. There are more, but these gives you a picture of how the Quran is full of Jewish fables. And so the question is, do the writers of the holy books ever quote Jewish fables as though they were actual historical events? No, in the Bible, but yes, in the Quran.